Right, if you're trying to decide between Crested Butte and Breckenridge, then this video is for you. You're gonna wanna watch this before you make any decisions. On paper, they look very similar. Colorado mountain towns, they're both ski resorts, they both have historic downtowns, but in real life, they feel very different. And if you pick the wrong one for your lifestyle or how you want to live on a day-to-day basis, you will feel that difference pretty quickly. So today I'm gonna break down some pretty major differences between Crested Butte and Breckenridge. We're talking vibe, accessibility, skiing, crowds, real estate, investment potential, and who each town truly attracts. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so number one on the list is the overall vibe. This is the one that you're gonna feel immediately. Crested Butte feels smaller, it's quieter, it's more tucked away, it's at the end of a street. It's not flashy, it's not going to compete with anyone, it really does feel authentic. This town has intentionally preserved its historic character. Elk Avenue still looks like Elk Avenue. There are a few chain stores, but very few, and it feels very grounded. Breckenridge, on the other hand, is much bigger. It's much more active, more movement. There is more visible tourism infrastructure, more second homeowners, and more consistent in and out traffic from Denver. Now, even though it has a Starbucks on its main street, which you would never find that in Crested Butte, there is one in Gunnison, by the way, but there's not gonna be ever one on Main Street, on Elk Avenue, but there is one in Breckenridge. Breckenridge still has charm. It still has the history, but the energy is just a little bit different. Crested Butte feels like a true mountain town that happens to have a ski resort. Breckenridge feels like a ski resort town that has grown into a small mountain city. Neither is better, but they attract different personalities. All right, number two is accessibility. Breckenridge is about an hour and a half to 2 hours from Denver. You can also fly into some other areas like Eagle Vale, but most people fly into Denver and you're gonna drive the I-70 corridor. And if you've heard me talk about this before, and if you know, you know, traffic can back up on I-70. It can be a holiday, it can be a weekend, it can be a powder day. Most of the time there's traffic on I-70 heading to the resorts and then back to Denver at the end of the weekend. But it's still, at the end of it, it's still very accessible from the Front Range and getting in and out of Denver. Crested Butte is about 4 to 4.5 hours away from Denver. You can fly into our regional airport, which is about 30 minutes away, and it's pretty convenient. So overall, Breckenridge will be easier to get to in and out of Denver, and Crested Butte requires a little bit more intention. That difference alone can change who ends up owning in either town. All right, size of town. Crested Butte is about a third of the size in full-time residents to Breckenridge. So that matters because Crested Butte is gonna feel a little bit more compact, a little bit more familiar. Breckenridge feels a little bit more expansive. There's more neighborhoods and more density and more year-round activity. So if you want small town scale, Crested Butte is going to deliver that in a noticeable way. All right, number four is ski area resort differences. So what's that like? Both Crested Butte Mountain Resort and Breckenridge Ski Resort are on the Epic Pass. So from a pass standpoint, if you have that, you're both covered at both resorts. You can ski interchangeably, you don't have to do a thing. Breckenridge offers 3,000 skiable acres across 5 peaks, whereas Crested Butte offers about 1,500 acres, and it's known a little bit more for its steep and technical terrain, although there are plenty of blues and greens to ski. Now, I live in Crested Butte, and this is my hometown ski resort, but I do ski other mountains. As a matter of fact, I was just in Breckenridge a few weeks ago skiing. And I will say, I know these I-70 resorts get a lot of bad rap over their ski lines. The lift lines were moderate, totally manageable. What stood out to me was not the lift lines actually, it was the amount of people on the ski runs. Breckenridge just has more acreage, more variety, which is fun. It's great fun. But there are simply just more skiers out on the mountain at any given time. In Crested Butte, I can ski all day and still not feel bored. The terrain just challenges you differently. It feels a little bit more vertical and a little bit more concentrated. And most days you're not gonna see that same skier density as you would in Breckenridge. So as a whole, Breckenridge is just gonna offer you more variety and more scale. And Crested Butte is gonna offer more personality and challenge. And speaking of density, all right, what's the crowds like? Breckenridge sees a significant amount of volume in peak weekends and holidays. So you have, we talked about it, the I-70 traffic, larger base areas, more day visitors, more overall tourism flow. So even on a normal weekend, it can feel busier. Crested Butte absolutely has busy times, but overall, the scale of crowds is just different. There's no I-70 corridor feeding into town. And for some buyers, that breathing room is everything. All right, speaking of buying, what is real estate and inventory like? Breckenridge is just gonna have a larger housing inventory. It's just a bigger area. You're gonna find more condos, more luxury builds, more new construction options, and just a higher amount of transaction volume. Where Crested Butte is just gonna be a little bit more limited. We do have historic homes in the downtown area and mountain builds and some new construction. But overall, Crested Butte just has tighter land constraints. Breckenridge offers more choices. Crested Butte offers more scarcity. Both are very strong markets, but they're going to behave differently. All right, number 7, development and growth. Breckenridge continues to grow with planned neighborhoods and expansions around town. And Crested Butte and the Gunnison area are just really heavily regulated. Growth is going to be a bit slower here. Expansion is limited and land use is very carefully controlled. So if you want multiple new build options, Breckenridge is gonna offer that for you. But if you appreciate more limited growth and preserved character, Crested Butte is gonna align more in that mindset. All right, so we've been talking a lot about winter. What is the summer energy like in both of these towns? Both towns shine in the summer. Crested Butte is known as the wildflower capital of Colorado. And let me just say right here, who doesn't want to be in Colorado in the summertime, no matter where you are? But in Crested Butte, you get a lot of trails that start right from town. Summer feels a little bit more vibrant, a little bit more intimate. Breckenridge also has a strong summer season. There are more activities happening at a given time, more restaurant, more consistent visitor traffic because of that I-70 relationship to Denver. So the difference is not better or worse. It's just Breckenridge is just gonna offer and have more going on at once, whereas Crested Butte is gonna be a little bit more opportunity to find space and more smaller scale experiences. All right, number 9 is the dining and nightlife. Breckenridge has more restaurants and more retail options. You're just gonna find more variety. Crested Butte has excellent dining, but it's just gonna have fewer total choices. So if you want a broader selection in later evenings, Breckenridge may check that box for you. But if you want fewer options, stronger quality, and maybe a smaller setting, Crested Butte is gonna deliver on that. Number 10 is investment potential. So if you're spending your money there and you're gonna buy there, what does that look like? Breckenridge benefits from its proximity to Denver and consistent traffic. That often translates into strong short-term rental demand and booking volume. Crested Butte has fewer rentals overall and more limited inventory. Remember that scarcity thing earlier? So that scarcity can support a stronger peak season rates, whereas Breckenridge is gonna offer more scale. Crested Butte offers a little bit more exclusivity, and different investor personalities will gravitate towards one or the other. Number 11 is mountain setting versus valley setting. I don't think enough people take this into consideration. It's subtle, but it's very powerful. Breckenridge sits higher and you're already in the mountains. Crested Butte sits in a wide open valley. You have the Elk Mountain ranges surrounding you. Town itself feels a little bit more open. There's more sky, there's more light, there's more space between the mountain walls. Whereas Breckenridge, you're already tucked in the mountains, and Crested Butte feels like you're living in a mountain valley with the peaks surrounding you. So the difference is a little bit more visual and how that makes you feel also. So I think you should take that into consideration when you are weighing your options. Proximity to other resorts and towns. All right, we know Breckenridge sits in Summit County, and that means you're closer to Frisco, Dillon, Keystone, Copper, Vail. There's just a cluster of resorts and towns nearby. So if you want a variety with options that are 30 minutes to an hour away, Breckenridge is gonna offer that for you. Crested Butte's a little bit more isolated. Gunnison is 30 minutes away, doesn't have a ski area, but you're also gonna have larger grocery stores, the regional airport, and more basic services in Gunnison. So Crested Butte stands on its own. For some buyers, that independence is a huge draw, and for others, it's just gonna feel limiting. All right, what are events and what is the tourism pressure for both of these towns? Both towns are gonna have lots of events. Breckenridge, just like Crested Butte, hosts large festivals, ski competitions, seasonal celebrations. So with that comes more consistent tourism pressure if you're in Breckenridge, because it's gonna be on a larger scale. The sidewalks feel fuller, and I can absolutely attest to that because I have been in Breckenridge during some busy seasons. Restaurants do book up quicker, and parking is very competitive in Breckenridge. If you find a parking spot that you can keep, you do not move your car. You're walking everywhere. Crested Butte, we do have a little bit more limited parking, but it's not gonna be as competitive as Breckenridge. And Crested Butte also has well-known events like the Wildflower Festival, Bike Week, Arts Festival, and our Alpenglow concerts. But the scale overall, it's just gonna be smaller. There are times when the town is absolutely buzzing, and there are times when it feels a little bit more quiet and local. Breckenridge tends to feel active more consistently through the year, where Crested Butte has clear rhythms between busy and calm season. This one is important if you are moving to either of these towns full-time. This is number 14, community and schools. So Crested Butte has a very tight-knit community. It's gonna have a smaller school population. Families absolutely know each other. Kids are absolutely growing up skiing, biking together, and going through the same classrooms year after year. There's something really special and unique about that. Breckenridge is going to have a larger year-round population. The school just serves a bigger base of people. And there's also more workforce movement due to tourism coming in and out of that area. It still has strong community ties as well. It just doesn't feel as compact. So if you're raising a family and want that everyone knows everyone feeling, Crested Butte is gonna win in that category. But if you want more scale options within driving distance, Breckenridge is gonna offer that for you. So here's my honest takeaway. If you thrive on convenience and access and having more options within close reach, Breckenridge may feel a little bit easier. But if you value space, breathing room, limited growth, and a smaller town, Crested Butte is definitely gonna put you more aligned in that mindset. They are both beautiful. They both have strong real estate markets, but they are not interchangeable. They are very different mountain communities. All right, so there you have it. That's my comparison of Crested Butte and Breckenridge. And whether you're moving here, visiting for vacation, or looking to invest, the Crested Butte and Gunnison Valley have so much to offer. From the small town charm of downtown Gunnison and downtown Crested Butte to the stunning ski slopes of Mount Crested Butte, there is something for everyone. And if you got value out of this video and you want to learn more about Crested Butte or Gunnison and all the areas in between, be sure and hit the like and subscribe button. And whether you're moving here in 6 days from now or 6 months from now, I am here to make your move exactly the way you want it to be. All of my contact information is down below in the description. You can call, text, or email me. So until next time. Okay, so it looks like you're making a move to Crested Butte or Gunnison, Colorado, and you're trying to decide which video to watch. You could watch this one, or you could watch this one, or you could watch both, because they're both really going to help you out, and they're both really good. But go ahead, just pick one.